Fly Guy, you got a question in here, buddy?
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
Pretty good.
I I, I did have a question, but I did want to piggyback on something Michael said earlier. I think when he was speaking to Jad and of course the rest of the community, back testing is a real thing, especially for those that are newer to the charts and looking at them and studying them. When you find your model, before you even start trading, before you even enter anything, you study and you look and your eyes get accustomed to it over time. Like for example, just for a quick comparison, I mean I don't have any personally, but babies, children, there's this whole thing called schemas. They're used to looking at their parents, and they're used to their parents' faces. And when they see somebody else's face, it's different to them. Sometimes they might cry, sometimes they might laugh, whatever the case may be, but they're used to their parents' faces because they see them all the time. So when you see your setup all the time, day in, day out, or whatever, whatever you trade, when you see it happen over and over again, your eyes get accustomed to it over time without the feelings getting involved, without the pressure of being right or wrong. You build confidence when you do that. And that's something that can go a long way, especially for new traders. Um, Now to the question though, I did have a quick question. It's referring to like end dogs, new day opening gaps.
Oh, the end doggy, dog.
I love them. I love them. So, I was just wondering, like, because I always expect consequent encroachment to hit, at a certain point, at a certain time of day. But when price like just touches like the top or the bottom of said end dog and just runs away from it for days, can we still expect price to come back to that point at a later date, or is it just like, man, let's just not worry about it anymore?
I do if it's in the last 20 days.
Awesome. Okay. Sounds good.
When we return back to a more docile market condition, should we ever, and I don't know if we ever will, but I'm submitting to the idea that it should eventually, and I don't know when it will. So every day I just treat the market for what it is, and I use what it's presenting me, and I either find the opportunities or I sit still and don't do anything. But when a normal market environment is there, I'll go back as far as 60 days, look back. If it makes sense in the market structure, if it makes sense on where I think it may trade for that daily range. Um, One of the things that you should be doing also, if you've been doing this for a while and you're a little bit more versed, some of the newer students, this is not going to do anything but be like a quagmire for you. You'll get bogged down pursuing something you don't really fully understand. But for the advanced students that have been with me for a while, who might that be? Actually, charter level that actually went through 2021, 2020, 2019, 2018, 2017 to 2016. All of those individuals would fit this bill. Um, when you look at price action and where we're at right now and where we may go for the weekly range, where it may gravitate towards, go back through the last 20 days and find what end dog, new week opening gap, opening range gap, first presented fair value gap, which one exists in that projected range you anticipate seeing for the week. Go back. And by just simply doing that, you had the highest degree of probability PD arrays already predetermined. You just got to wait for time to get there. And then the further you go back, when it's a better market environment, you can go back like that for 60 days. 60, 40, 20. But living in that little universe of 20 days, like, I mean, it's handed to you on a platter. It literally is like, here it is. You just got to be there in front of the charts when it gets to it. Know where it's going to draw after it goes there, and it's done. Like it really is that easy. But it's not easy knowing how to manage that data how you're going to utilize it. Where's the draw going to be for the weekly range? Where do you think it's likely to go? And maybe the weekly range is too much for you. Well, do it for the daily range. Where do you think it's going to draw to? I gave you the target today, and it went 100 handles or more than where I thought it was going to go, but I don't care. I'm not going to sweat that little bit of extra movement. I mean, I'm not going to beat myself up over that. But anticipating where the market may reach for, go back over the last week and say, okay, in the last 5 days, what first presented fair value gap, what opening range gap from regular trading hours, what new day opening gap, new week opening gap, which of those things exist in the direction trading lower into those relative equal lows I gave today at 26,805. Every PD array that you can find in the last 5 days, if it's in that range from where the daily high was, I'll shorten to that target as relative equal lows, study how that price action was used today in the range. And you'll see things that you didn't see before, but they're always there in the chart. And my experience yields to me that these things will tend to repeat. So it's advantageous for me to keep a good record and log of them, and I write them down on my little notepad. And I have those things available to me, so that way when we traverse to one of them and goes through it, what's the next one in the order? Well, below that one, it's the first business fair value gap from a Tuesday or a Wednesday, or it's the end dog from this, that, and the other thing. So by you managing these things, you'll see that the trades are not materializing out of the blue. They're literally going to things I've already taught you, but you just aren't spending time basically collecting them in a useful manner. Where you think it's going to go from where it is right now, what PD arrays exist in that. If you're looking at anything outside of that, you're doing too many things and collecting too much useless information. If the PD arrays are outside that range that you think it's going to be trading in, why are you spending any time worrying about them? Focusing and limiting your. I'm sorry?
No, that's real.
Yeah, so I mean, it helps. It gives you framework, and it provides a way of clearly anticipating when the price moves are going to happen, and they're not going to be a surprise to you.
May I ask a question to what you just said?
Go ahead.
Sure.
You just talked about first presented fair value gaps, end dogs, and new weekly opening gaps past 20 days. But when you put them all together, let's say we're not at all-time highs, wouldn't there be too many of them, like first presented fair value gaps for New York, for PM, for Asia, for London, and you're putting those, isn't your charts just going to be full of lines at that point?
When we were going through that real nasty consolidation on the daily chart for the indices, when it's like that, yes. But then I've also taught you, look at the last Friday and Monday of the last 2 previous weeks. If you just use those and your common everyday new day opening gap, each one that forms, it's not going to be a whole lot. So you have to be able to like I said, you have to manage your information and your data. But when the market's moving around and gyrating around, looking back 60 days is not going to give you more things that you'll be able to handle it. Trust me. But when it's in a consolidation like we have been recently, there's a whole lot of overlapping. So you have to reduce it, spend much more time trying to eliminate redundancy. So if there's several gaps that are overlapping, get the highest high and the lowest low of the whole group. Divide that into quadrants. It's done. You're going to blend and create a hybrid out of all those coalescing, they're all congregating around the same unified range. So wouldn't it make better sense to say, okay, instead of doing all these individual lines, if I'm going to use the last one in the last 5 days or the last 20 days, if they're all grouped around in a very specific range, what's the highest high and the lowest low? Divide that range in half and by the quadrants and octants, and then you're done. You're done because the algorithm's going to refer to all of them. But if you're going to focus on having it much more user-friendly visibly on your charts, you've done so by doing that.
All right. Do you use, have you talked about true month open and true week open, same lines in past 20 days?
No. But I don't think you understood what I just said.
Yeah, I don't think so
should have
either.
been like,
That's
because
a follow-up.
you should have been like, oh shit, because that's what that was. That was an oh shit moment. That was one of those that just went right over your head, and people are just not going to pay any attention to that. But when you have all of these PD arrays and ranges sharing a specific range, if you create a hybrid of that and just use the furthest extreme high and the furthest extreme low of all of those and grade that, you have literally removed all of the extra work of keeping all that stuff on your chart. And it'll be just the same as if you just used the most recent ones. Don't take my word for it. Go into your charts and go back into all these consolidations we did, and you'll see what I just told you. It's voodoo.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. And now, again, you don't have to buy the book because I just taught something there.
Is there a term that you would refer that to? Like, is that clustering some of these arrays? I use the term cluster. I don't know if I'm asking you if that would be an official term or not. I don't know.
No, it's not. I don't want to use the term because, like I said, every time we do a lecture or something, they're taking AI and they're creating these little pamphlet books on Amazon. Like, seriously, look at them. Every week there's something new. ICT's bullshit this, ICT bullshit that, and they're just using AI to create the book and put it up there for quick profit. So it's a lot of things. I'm teaching conceptually, but I don't want to say the name because they're in the rush to have it in print first. And that it's this little thing that's pissing me off. So I'm talking about it conceptually, but I taught it. You don't need to know what the name of it is. That's what difference does it make what the name of it is? If I told you, look at the range high and range low, break it down. If it's a hybrid of all these ranges that share the same space. Just remove all the ambiguity and the extra stuff and remove all the chaff by taking the highest high, the lowest low, grade it, and then use it just as if it was just that alone and nothing extra. And you'll get to the exact same thing. If it stays in the lower half, oh, what is that? That's premium sensitivity. If it gets to the upper half, if it trades down to the upper half when it's bullish, what is that showing? Discount sensitivity. And you don't need to worry about all the other little extras that would be inside of that bigger range. It makes your job a whole lot easier by looking at a very specific range.
You said you could use that to the last 5 days as well, not just 20 days?
Anytime you see it, like a grouping of NDOGs, new week opening gaps, regular trading hours opening range gaps, if you start seeing price, and we're going to eventually get to a point where we get into these long extended consolidations again. And when that happens, it's by default, it's going to happen. They're going to be basically showing you the same kind of ranges. Just use the furthest extreme high and low and then grade it out and you'll have everything you need and you don't have to worry about having multiple specific lines. This is the best one.
Amazing.
It will be when you see it.